Broken woman chooses mafia over police. You are the loose end. Have you ever had exactly 48 hours before your entire life implodes? Not theoretically, not in some abstract, someday this might happen way. But right now, at 2 a.m., with the clock ticking and no escape route visible, that's where Amaka sits right now. Her name is Amaka Okonkwo. She's 28. She's black. She's exhausted in a way that sleep can't fix. And she's sitting in a rusted Honda Civic in a parking garage that smells like old motor oil and broken dreams, gripping a steering wheel that's seen better years, wondering if her son is going to remember her face when they take him away. The dashboard clock reads 2 a.m. Exactly. Like the universe wanted to make a point about how symbolic this moment is. She's been sitting here for 40 minutes, 40 minutes of rain, 40 minutes of thinking, 40 minutes of praying to a God she doesn't believe in, asking for favors she knows she doesn't deserve. Hey, what's up, everyone? If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is where we dive into intense stories of love, survival, and unexpected twists. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single moment of the action. And to all our regulars, welcome back, family. Your support means everything to us. Let's keep this story going. Now, before we get into what happens next, I need you to understand something about Amaka. She's not the type of woman who panics. She's the type who works 2 jobs, who braids hair for 12 hours straight so her son can eat actual food instead of the discount ramen she grew up on. She's the type who wakes up at 5:30 a.m. to take the bus to the other side of the city to clean houses for $80 under the table. She's the type who smiles at her clients even when her feet are screaming. She's the type who prays, not because she thinks God is listening, but because the alternative is admitting that it's all up to her, and she's already tired. But tonight, she's terrified. In her lap, there's a letter. It's from the Department of Child Protective Services. The paper is still crisp, which means she's read it maybe 100 times in the last 3 hours, and it hasn't changed. The words are still there. The threat is still real. She's memorized it. Ms. Okonkwo, we have received a third complaint regarding the stability of your housing situation. During our last visit, we noted that your current residence does not meet adequate standards for a child. You have 30 days to secure appropriate housing, or we will be forced to take protective custody of your son Leo, pending a full investigation. 30 days. She does the math in her head again. The same math she's been doing since she opened this letter at her salon chair while Mrs. Henderson was getting her edges laid. Mrs. Henderson, bless her heart, had pretended not to notice when Amaka's hands started shaking. She'd just sat there, letting Amaka braid her hair, not saying a word, just being present. But Grace doesn't pay rent. Rent is due in 5 days. She has $340 in her checking account. Car insurance overdue. Leo needs new shoes because his toes are pushing against the front of his sneakers. Her rent is $200. Utilities, $150. Daycare, $600. Groceries, gas, phone bill, random emergencies. The numbers do not add up. She's drowning. Come on, baby, please. Just give me one break. One. She's not talking to God. She's talking to the universe. She's talking to her own body, begging it to keep working. She's talking to Leo, sleeping safely in his bed at home in the apartment with peeling beige wallpaper and a radiator that sounds like it's dying. That apartment isn't much, but it's theirs. It's the place where Leo learned to walk. It's the place where she sang him to sleep every night for the first 6 months when she had postpartum depression so bad she thought about driving her car into a wall just to make the noise in her head stop. But it's being taken, and she doesn't know how to survive that. She puts her forehead against the steering wheel. It's cold. It smells like cleaning solution and old vinyl. She breathes in and out, counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a technique her therapist taught her, The therapist she can't afford to see anymore because therapy is a luxury. Then she hears it. A thud. Heavy. Deliberate. It echoes through the garage like someone dropped a body from the second floor. Through the rain-slicked windshield, she sees two figures, both wearing suits that cost more than her monthly rent, both moving with a precision that speaks of repetition, of things they've done before and will do again. There's a third figure on the ground. He's not moving. A muffled shot. The body goes still. Amaka's breath catches in her throat. She doesn't move. Every cell in her body is screaming at her to move, to start the car, to go, but her hands are frozen on the steering wheel. Her foot is locked on the brake pedal. Her mind is screaming that this isn't real. This is the kind of thing that happens in movies, not in a parking garage where she came to sit and think about her life falling apart. She just watched someone die. She just watched a man get executed. At 2 a.m., while she was thinking about rent, one of the suited men, the one closer to her, turns. He's scanning the garage methodically, checking car to car, eliminating possibilities. A predator in a concrete jungle. His eyes land on her Civic. For exactly 1 second, their gazes lock. He's handsome in the way that dangerous things are beautiful. Not because they're good, but because they're honest. No pretense, no apologies. His face is a blank slate, and that's what terrifies her most. Not rage, not anger. Just nothing. Like he's just finished brushing his teeth. Not ending a life. Dark hair slicked back with precision. A scar from temple to jaw. An immaculate Italian wool suit. Not a wrinkle. Not a speck of blood. And then he sees her seeing him. Amaka's survival instinct finally wakes up. She jams the key into the ignition, throws the car into reverse, and slams the accelerator. The Civic jerks backward, tires screaming against wet concrete. She's moving fast, too fast, running on pure adrenaline. He doesn't chase. He just watches her, like he's memorizing her. She nearly slams into a pillar, corrects, and shoots toward the exit. The gate is coming down, a metal guillotine lowering slowly, too slowly. She's going to hit it. She doesn't slow down. Metal shrieks, plastic cracks. The gate buckles and crashes behind her. Suddenly she's out on the street. Rain, neon, a Friday night city that doesn't care that she just watched a man die. She doesn't go to the police. She can't. Because the police ask questions. They file reports. They write down your name and your address and your phone number. And somehow, she's heard this story 100 times. The information gets out. The person you testified against finds out where you live, and if the police are called, CPS finds out. They wonder why she was in a parking garage at 2 a.m. They question her judgment. They ask if she's involved in anything illegal. Suspicion instead of sympathy. And they take Leo, just to be safe. So she drives. Left. Right. Left again. She passes the 24-hour diner that smells like burned coffee and old grease, the strip mall where Divine Crown is dark and empty, the bodega where Leo's favorite chips are on sale, the elementary school where he might start kindergarten, if she can keep him. Eventually, because her body knows the way home even when her mind is screaming not to, she turns toward the apartment. Inside, she locks every lock, deadbolt, chain. That useless little metal rod. She pulls the curtain around Leo's corner tighter. The cheap fabric with cartoon lions and elephants feels like armor. The radiator is clanking. The neighbor's bass leaks through the walls. The whole building hums with its own tired life. She pulls a dull kitchen knife from the drawer. It's barely sharp enough to cut tomatoes, but she wraps her fingers around the handle like it's a sword. She positions herself between the front door and Leo's makeshift bedroom. Her phone buzzes. Salon manager. Sunday client. Maybe a number she doesn't recognize. She doesn't answer. She stands there, knife in shaking hand, in an apartment that suddenly feels like a trap, and finally understands that her life is not her own anymore. That man, that face, those eyes. He looked at her like she was a problem that needed solving. What would you do if you were in her shoes? Would you have gone to the police, or fled in fear? Drop your answer in the comments because her night is about to get so much worse. A soft knock, then the sound of a key turning in her lock. Not forced, not picked. Turning like it belongs there. The door opens. Amaka raises the knife. The man in the doorway is the same man from the garage. But here, under the harsh, buzzing light of her ceiling fixture, he looks even more unreal. The line of his suit, the shine on his shoes, the neat slick of his dark hair. Up close, she notices something else. A faint, lingering smell of jjajangmyeon sauce and cigarette smoke, like he came from some late-night upscale Korean Chinese restaurant straight into her nightmare. The scent feels wrong inside her cramped kitchen that smells like old oil and dollar store bleach. You need to listen to me very carefully, he says. His Korean accent rolls over his English like velvet dragged over a blade. I'm not here to hurt you. How did you get in? Her voice comes out hoarse. He lifts a small silver key. The landlord and I have an understanding. Who are you? My name is Junho. He says it like it's a brand. You have the right to know the name of the person who just saved your life. Saved my life? She laughs. A cracked, almost hysterical sound. You just killed someone. In a garage, in front of me. And now you're in my home at 2:30 a.m. saying you saved my life? He nods once, as if he expected that response. My rivals saw your license plate. They will trace it to this address. If I leave now, they come in. They will not knock. They will not talk. They will just remove the loose end. He holds her gaze. You are the loose end. Her hand trembles so badly she can barely hold the knife. If I stay, my presence is a message, a warning. My organization is powerful. You are under my protection now. They know what it means if I am here. They will not risk it. He checks her blinds with casual efficiency, like he's done this 1,000 times. Your choice, he says. I leave, they come, your son grows up without a mother. Or I stay, and you live to complain about me later. Leo murmurs in his sleep behind the curtain. That sound cracks something inside her. How long? She whispers. Until it is safe. 1 week. Maybe 2. There is war between my side and theirs. It will end soon. And then? Then I leave. And you forget you ever saw me. She lets out a wet, broken laugh. How am I supposed to forget that? He doesn't answer. He walks past her, leaving a careful gap, respecting the invisible line she's clinging to, and sets his suit jacket across the back of her sagging couch. Under the shirt, she sees the holster, the knife at his belt, the scars on his forearms, raised white marks against tan skin, like someone wrote his history in violence. I'll sleep here, he says. You lock your door. You don't come out unless I say. Your son doesn't see me if we can help it. We are strangers living in the same space. Temporary. She backs away, still holding the knife, slips behind the curtain and locks the bedroom door. It wouldn't slow him down for more than a second. But it's something. She sits on the edge of her bed and listens to the killer in her living room settle onto her couch, and she understands that her life has split cleanly into a before and an after. What do you think Junho's plan is? Is he truly dangerous, or is there more to his story? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because a 6-year-old is about to walk into this mess. Amaka doesn't sleep. She lies in bed staring at the ceiling for 4 hours, listening to the man in her living room. She hears him shift on the couch. Once, at 3:15 a.m. She hears the sound of his shoes hitting the floor. At 4:30 a.m. She hears the click of his lighter and the smell of cigarette smoke drifting through the curtain at 5 a.m. A man who can't sleep either. A man who probably hasn't slept properly in years. When the sun finally comes up, she's exhausted in a way that no amount of sleep could fix. She can hear him moving around the living room. He's not trying to be quiet. He's not trying to hide. He's just existing. Living in her space like he belongs here. Like this is normal. Like a Korean Mafia hitman sleeping on your couch while you hide behind a curtain with a dull knife is something that happens to single mothers every day. It's 6 a.m. Leo will wake up soon. He always does, around 6:30. He'll come padding out of his corner of the studio, rubbing his eyes, asking for milk. He'll have no idea that there's a stranger in his home. He'll have no idea that his mother spent the night listening for sounds of danger, waiting for something terrible to happen. Amaka gets up. She moves quietly, opening the flimsy lock on the bedroom door. She peeks through the curtain. Junho is sitting on the couch. He's still wearing his dress pants and white button-up shirt. His tie is draped over the arm of the couch. His suit jacket is folded carefully beside him. On the coffee table in front of him, he has his gun disassembled, completely taken apart. The barrel, the slide, the frame, the firing pin, the spring, all laid out in a precise geometric pattern like he's creating art. He's cleaning it with a small cloth, his movements methodical, practiced, like a surgeon performing a delicate operation. He doesn't look up at her, but he knows she's there. Your son will be awake soon. I will not be visible when he wakes. I understand the situation. A child does not need to see this. He gestures to the gun parts with the cloth. Amaka nods, even though he's not looking at her. She goes to the small kitchen area, barely more than a hot plate and a mini fridge wedged into the corner, and starts making breakfast. She moves mechanically, trying to create normalcy where there is none. She gets out cereal. She gets out milk. The good milk. The kind Leo likes. The kind she buys despite the budget. She gets out a bowl and a spoon. The milk carton is nearly empty. She pours carefully, rationing, making sure there's enough for Leo and enough for her. Coffee tomorrow morning. Behind her, she can hear Junho reassembling the gun with the precision of someone who has done this 10,000 times. Click, click, click. Each piece sliding back into place with a soft precision and purpose. She tries not to think about what that gun has done, what those hands have done. Leo appears from behind the curtain, his hair sticking up in 3 different directions. He's wearing the dinosaur pajamas that Amaka got him for his birthday 2 months ago. He's dragging his favorite stuffed animal, a lion named Roar, that he's had since he was born. One ear slightly loose from being hugged so many times. "Mama," he says, his voice still thick with sleep, slurred and innocent. "I'm hungry." He doesn't see Junho. The couch is positioned so that it's mostly obscured from the kitchen area if you're not looking for it. And Leo, at 6 years old, doesn't look for things. He just sees what's directly in front of him, his mother, breakfast, the familiar, keen comfort of morning routine. "I know, baby," Amaka says, pulling him into a hug. She breathes in the smell of his hair, that specific child smell, like sleep and innocence, and everything worth fighting for. It's a smell that's being erased as he grows. One day he'll smell like a teenager, then a man. One day this smell will be gone forever. "I made your favorite." She pours the milk. She sits him in the small plastic chair that's designed for children, surrounded by toys that he's outgrown but she can't bear to throw away. A stuffed elephant from his 2nd birthday, a car toy with a missing wheel, blocks with letters. She watches him eat. His little hands grip the spoon. Some milk drips down his chin. He doesn't care. He's focused entirely on the cereal, pushing the milk-soaked pieces around with his spoon before eating them. Behind them, Junho has finished reassembling his gun. She can hear him slide it back into the holster with a soft click. She can hear him stand, his joints cracking slightly. She can hear him move toward the window to check outside, to see what the streets are telling him, to measure the threat level. This is their new normal, apparently. A woman and her son eating breakfast. A man in black sweats watching the world for danger. A routine that shouldn't exist, but somehow does. Mama, when is school? Tomorrow, baby, school is tomorrow. Will you pick me up? The question hits her harder than it should, because she doesn't know. She doesn't know if she's going to be able to pick him up tomorrow. She doesn't know if the rival gang will find her. She doesn't know if this man in her apartment is actually protecting her, or if he's just delaying the inevitable. She doesn't know if she's still alive tomorrow, but she has to answer. She has to look her son in the eye and promise him something that only God can guarantee. Yes, she says, I'll pick you up. I promise. She doesn't make promises she can't keep. But this is a promise she has to make, because the alternative is admitting to her son that the world is not safe, that his mother can't protect him, that everything could fall apart at any moment. Leo finishes his cereal. He drinks the milk directly from the bowl, something Amaka has been trying to teach him not to do, but today, she just lets him. She's too tired to parent properly. She's too terrified to enforce rules about manners. Can we play? He asks, looking up at her with milk on his upper lip, his eyes bright with the enthusiasm of childhood. After school, she says. After breakfast, we need to get ready for daycare. Amaka gets Leo ready for daycare. She picks out his clothes, a blue shirt and khakis that match the daycare uniform code. She combs his hair, trying to tame the chaos into something manageable, her fingers gentle on his scalp. She brushes his teeth, holding his chin gently while he opens his mouth wide like a baby bird. She ties his shoes, double knotting them so they won't come off during play. Through all of this, she's hyper-aware of Junho. He's moved to the window. He's checking the street below, his eyes scanning, his jaw tight. He's making phone calls in Korean, his voice low, his tone businesslike. She doesn't understand the words, but she understands the meaning. He's working. He's conducting business. He's calling in favors from people who owe him violence. He's calling in debts. He's making arrangements. She catches one phrase. The girl and the child are under my protection. It sends a chill down her spine, not because it's a threat, but because it's a declaration. He's claiming her. He's making her part of his world whether she wants to be or not. By the time Amaka has Leo ready, it's 7:30 a.m. She needs to get him to daycare by 8 Klaus. The daycare is across town. The bus takes 40 minutes. She's cutting it close, as usual. We need to go, Leo, she says. He nods and grabs his backpack. It's a small backpack, designed for children, with cartoon characters on it. A dinosaur, a giraffe, a lion. Totally inappropriate for a 6-year-old who thinks he's too old for cartoon characters, but Leo loves it, so she keeps buying him backpacks with cartoon characters on them. She grabs her purse. She checks for her keys, her phone, her wallet. All there. All the things that mean she can exist in the world. Junho is suddenly in front of her. He's moved without her hearing him. He's materialized like a ghost, which is probably a skill he's cultivated over years of being a professional killer. Years of moving through spaces unseen. Years of appearing exactly where he needs to be. Do not mention me, he says. His eyes are intense, focused. Do not tell the daycare. Do not tell your friends. Do not tell anyone. You say nothing. Understood? Amaka nods. She understands perfectly. The less people know, the safer they are. Or so she hopes. I will be here when you return, he says. If anything seems wrong, anyone asking about you, anyone following. You, anyone paying too much attention. You come directly back. You do not stop anywhere. You do not talk to anyone. You come back here. Understood? Understood. She whispers. He steps aside. He lets her and Leo leave. But his hand reaches out, not to touch her, but to hold the door open. A small gesture, a small courtesy, a small reminder that he's trying to be something other than what he is. Daycare is chaos. Always. 20 children under 7 years old, screaming, playing, fighting over toys, crying because their mother is leaving. It's a beautiful chaos, the kind that makes Amaka almost forget about the man in her apartment. Almost. She drops Leo off with his teacher, Ms. Rivera, who is a saint. Ms. Rivera is patient and kind, and she never judges Amaka for being late, or for picking Leo up late, or for forgetting to pay the tuition on time. She just takes the child and makes sure he's safe. She's the kind of person who believes in second chances, who believes in grace. "How are you, Mama?" Ms. Rivera asks, her accent thick, her smile warm. "You look tired." "I'm fine," Amaka lies. "Just tired." "You're working too hard," Ms. Rivera says. "You need to rest." If only it were that simple. If only rest could fix what's broken in her life. Amaka leaves the daycare and gets back on the bus. She should go to the salon. She's scheduled to work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. She should go to work and pretend that nothing has changed. She should braid hair and make small talk with her clients and pretend that she's not harboring a wanted criminal in her apartment. But she can't. She doesn't have it in her. She gets off the bus 2 stops early. She walks. She's trying to see if anyone is following her. She's trying to be aware of her surroundings in the way that Junho probably is, constantly, all the time. Noting cars, noting people, noting the small details that don't fit. She ducks into a corner store and buys a bottle of water. She watches the reflections in the window to see if anyone stops when she stops. No one does. But there's a black sedan parked 3 blocks away that she's never seen before. She notices it. She memorizes the license plate, or at least tries to. She wonders if it's nothing. She wonders if she's becoming paranoid. She walks back to her apartment building. It's a 5-story walk-up with a leaky roof and a landlord who shows up maybe twice a year. It smells like old food and broken dreams, the same smell it always has. The front door is broken, has been broken for months, which means anyone can walk in. She takes the stairs slowly, listening for footsteps behind her. She hears nothing but her own breathing. Junho is exactly where she left him. But he's changed. He's no longer in his dress clothes. He's wearing sweats. Black sweats. Expensive looking. The kind with a designer logo on the side that probably costs more than Amaka makes in a week. He's wearing a black t-shirt that's fitted enough to show the muscle. Underneath, the definition that comes from training, from discipline, from living a life that demands physical perfection. He looks less like a CEO and more like what he actually is. A man who has trained to kill, who has lived to kill, who has built his entire existence around the mechanics of violence. "Your manager called," he says. "I did not answer. She will assume you are not coming in." "She's going to fire me." "Probably," Junho says simply. He says it like it's obvious, like employment is a luxury she can't afford. Amaka sits down heavily on the couch. She's just lost her job. Her only job. The job that was barely paying her rent. The job that was her only chance at staying ahead of CPS. The job that was the only stability in her life that wasn't attached to a man. "She's going to fire me," she repeats, like saying it twice will make it less true. "Yes," Junho says. "I need to call her." "You will call her when it is safe. For now, you are here. You are safe. Everything else can wait." Can it, though? Can everything else wait when your entire life is falling apart? She looks at Junho. He's standing by the window checking the street again. Always checking. Always watching. Always aware. His profile is sharp against the light coming through the window, the scar on his jaw, the set of his mouth, the intensity in his eyes. "I need to go to work," she says. "I need money. You need to stay alive," Junho interrupts. His voice is sharp, cutting. "Money means nothing if you are dead." He's right. Of course he's right. But being right doesn't pay rent. Being right doesn't keep CPS away. Being right doesn't put food on the table. By afternoon, the tension is unbearable. Amaka is pacing. She's checking her phone obsessively. Her manager has texted 4 times. "Where are you?" "Amaka, this is unprofessional. If you're not here by 2 p.m., don't bother coming back. You're fired." A client who is waiting for an appointment has called. Her mother has texted asking for money. Her mother, who Amaka hasn't seen in 3 years, suddenly wants to be in contact. Everyone wants something from her. Everyone needs her. And she's stuck in this apartment with a stranger who killed someone in a parking garage. Junho is still watching the window, still making phone calls, still existing in a state of constant vigilance. She can hear the tension in his voice when he speaks Korean. She can hear the edge of something dark underneath the formality. Amaka opens the fridge. She's looking for something to do, something to occupy her hands. Something other than thinking about the fact that her job is gone, her money is running out. Her son is in daycare without a mother who's working to pay for it, and her life is being held together by a man who has no reason to keep her alive. The fridge is nearly empty. She has eggs. She has some vegetables, onions, garlic, bell peppers. She has rice. She decides to cook. She's making jollof rice. It's a recipe her mother taught her years ago. Her mother, who was born in Lagos, Nigeria, before she came to the States on a student visa that turned into illegal status. Before she had Amaka. Before she decided that having a child was too much responsibility and left Amaka with her grandmother for most of her childhood. Her mother, who Amaka has only seen 4 times since she was born. But the recipe is good. The recipe is Amaka's connection to a culture she doesn't fully understand, a mother who doesn't fully love her, a home she's never actually had. The recipe is in her bones, in her muscle memory, in the way her hands know how to move. She cooks carefully, adding spice, adding love, adding everything she can't say into the rice. She adds tomato paste, she adds chicken broth, she adds salt, pepper, cumin. She stirs. She waits. She prays over the rice like it's holy. The smell of West African spices fills the small apartment. Rich. Complex. Like history. Junho watches her from the couch. "What is that?" he asks. His voice is different when he's watching her. Less sharp. More curious. "Jollof rice," she says. "West African. Nigerian, specifically. My mother is from Lagos." "Your mother is in your life?" Amaka laughs. It's a bitter sound, like something breaking. "Not really," she says. "She sends texts asking for money. That's about it. She left me with my grandmother when I was 3 months old. Said she needed to finish school. She never came back." She doesn't know why she's telling him this, but something about the situation, the intimacy of cooking in front of someone, the forced proximity, the fact that he's already seen her at her absolute worst, makes it easier to be honest. It's like they're already past the point of pretense, like they're already living in a reality where all the normal social boundaries have dissolved. The rice finishes. She plates it carefully. She serves it on the small plates she has, the ones with chipped edges. Junho eats the jollof rice in silence, completely silent. His expression doesn't change. He just eats, methodically, like he's absorbing the food, the taste, the meaning of it. He finishes bite by bite, and then he finishes. He sets the plate down. "That is good," he says simply. It's the most human thing he's said since he arrived, and somehow, it breaks something in Amaka. She finds herself crying, just silently, tears running down her face, her shoulders shaking, her body betraying her. She's crying about her job. She's crying about her mother. She's crying about her son in daycare. She's crying about the man in her apartment who is both her savior and her greatest danger. Junho doesn't comfort her. He doesn't move. He doesn't reach out. He just sits. He lets her cry. He understands somehow that what she needs is not his comfort but his presence, his witness. Sometimes that's all anyone needs, for someone to see them falling apart and not flinch. Evening. Leo will be picked up from daycare in an hour. The sun is starting to set. Long shadows cross the apartment. The quality of light changes everything. I'm going to pick up my son, Amaka says finally, wiping her face with the back of her hand. I know, Junho says. Will you stay? I will be here, he says. I will not be visible. Your son will not know I exist, but I will be here. Amaka nods. She gets her bag. She gets her keys. The radiator, Junho says suddenly. What? It is broken. The pipes are frozen. I can hear it. I can fix it. Amaka stops. She looks at him. The radiator has been broken for 3 months. The landlord has ignored her requests to fix it. She's been buying space heaters with money she doesn't have to keep warm. It's been a slow, constant drain on her resources and her sanity. You can fix it? I can fix it, he says. I will fix it while you are gone. And somehow, this simple offer, to fix something broken in her life, to make something better, to do something that matters, makes Amaka believe that maybe, just maybe, things might actually be okay. Thank you, she whispers. Do not thank me yet, he says. First, let me fix it. When Amaka returns with Leo 3 hours later, the radiator is working. It's actually genuinely working. Warm air is flowing from it. The apartment is warm, not just warm, but comfortable. For the first time since Amaka moved in, the apartment feels like a home. And there, on the floor, covered in dust and old pipes, his hands stained with grease, his black t-shirt dirty, his hair slightly messed up, sitting with a wrench in his hand, is Junho. He's looking at the radiator. He's looking satisfied. But more than that, he's looking human. Mama, who's that man? Amaka's heart stops. She doesn't know what to say. She doesn't know how to explain Junho. She doesn't know how to make sense of him to a 6-year-old who sees the world in simple categories. Friend or stranger, safe or unsafe, good or bad. That's just a friend, Leo. A friend who's visiting. Leo nods. Children accept things so easily, so without question. They don't ask for explanations. They don't question the logic. They just accept the world as it's presented to them. He doesn't see the scars on Junho's arms. He doesn't see the gun that Junho quickly conceals behind his back, moving with practiced efficiency. He doesn't see the danger. He just sees a man who fixed the radiator. A man who made the apartment warm. Junho stands slowly. He's dusting himself off. He's trying to appear smaller, less threatening, less like what he is. He's trying to be safe for a child. Your home is warm now, Junho says to Leo. It's the first time he's spoken directly to the boy. Leo looks at him seriously, like he's assessing him. Thank you, Leo says, because Amaka has taught him to be polite, to say thank you, to show gratitude. You are welcome, Junho says. And for the first time since this nightmare began, Amaka thinks, maybe this could work. Maybe we could all just exist in this space together. Maybe there's a version of this story where everyone survives. Leo plays with his toys. He shows Junho his action figures. Junho sits on the floor, the first time Amaka has seen him sit on the floor, and listens to Leo explain the complicated mythology of his toy universe. Leo talks about heroes and villains and adventures. Junho listens like he's hearing the most important information in the world. Amaka cooks dinner. She makes rice and beans. She makes plantains. She makes a simple meal that stretches as far as it can. Junho eats with them. He sits at the small table. They eat like a family. It's not real. Amaka knows it's not real. But for a moment, it feels possible. After dinner, Amaka gives Leo a bath. She helps him into his pajamas. She tucks him into bed. She sings to him, a lullaby her grandmother taught her, in a language she doesn't fully understand, but somehow remembers. When she comes out, Junho is sitting by the window again. He is a good child, Junho says. He is, Amaka agrees. He deserves a better life than this, Junho continues. He deserves safety. I'm doing my best, Amaka says quietly. I know, Junho says. That is why you are still alive. Days pass. Morning light, then afternoon light, then evening light. The cycle repeating. The apartment becoming more comfortable, the tension becoming more bearable. There's a moment, on the third day, when Leo asks for juice. He doesn't ask Amaka. He asks Junho. Can I have juice? Leo says. Junho stands. He goes to the fridge. He gets a juice box. He looks at the small straw, trying to figure out how to open it. He fumbles. He struggles. For a man who has killed dozens of people, who is trained to use weapons with precision, he cannot figure out how to put a straw in a juice box. Leo laughs. Amaka laughs. Junho looks at the juice box in his hand, and for the first time, she sees him smile. It's small. It's brief. But it's real. And as he finally manages to get the straw in, the smell of Tom Ford Black Orchid cologne, expensive and incongruous in the small apartment, wafts toward them. It smells like a luxury department store, like the world Junho used to belong to. Leo sniffs the air curiously. You smell like a fancy store, Junho, Leo says innocently. Junho looks at the boy, then at Amaka, and for the first time, something shifts in his expression. He's being noticed. He's being seen as something other than a killer. A small thing. A domestic thing. A thing that matters. Leo drinks the juice. Junho watches like he's just accomplished something miraculous. On the fifth day, Amaka's phone rings. It's Ms. Rivera from the daycare. Amaka's heart stops. Something is wrong. Something always happens when someone calls unexpectedly. Hi, Ms. Rivera, Amaka says, trying to keep her voice steady. Amaka. Hello. Leo is fine. Everything is fine, Ms. Rivera says quickly, understanding that a call would cause panic. But there was a man here today. He came by the daycare asking about Leo, asking about you. He was asking a lot of questions. I didn't like the feel of him. I didn't give him any information, but I wanted to warn you. Amaka feels the world tilt. What did he look like? She whispers. Asian man. Maybe in his 40s. Expensive suit. He had an accent. Korean maybe. He said he was a relative. But something was off. Amaka, are you in some kind of trouble? No. Amaka lies. No, everything is fine. Thank you for telling me. She hangs up. Junho is already moving. He's already checking the window. He's already on his phone. The rival gang knows about the child, he says quietly. It's a statement, not a question. They've found her. They've found Leo. They're closing in. It's evening. A Maybach pulls up outside the building. The sound of an expensive engine. The sound of danger arriving. It's Madame Go, but she's not alone. She arrives in a Maybach. That distinctive, expensive purr that sounds nothing like Amaka's rusted Civic. The engine cuts off with mechanical precision. She's accompanied by 2 bodyguards. Her presence is like a force of nature. Cold, inevitable, impossible to stop. Junho doesn't answer the door immediately. He checks the peephole. He assesses the situation. He knows what's coming. The knock is authoritative, demanding. Junho opens the door. Standing in the hallway is Madame Go. She's Korean, probably in her 60s, but she carries herself like royalty. She's wearing a designer coat that costs more than Amaka's car. Her hair is perfectly coiffed. Her makeup is immaculate. But her eyes are ice. Junho, the woman says in Korean. But then she switches to English, because she sees Amaka. Who is this? This is Madame Go, Junho's handler. Junho's mother figure. The woman who controls his life. The woman who has made all his major decisions for him. The woman he has killed for. Madame Go, Junho says carefully. His voice is controlled, but Amaka can hear the fear underneath it. You should not be here. I should not be here? She laughs. It's a cold sound, like ice cracking. You disappear. You do not report. You do not answer your phone. You go silent for 5 days. And you tell me I should not be here? She steps into the apartment. She looks around. She takes in the small space, the peeling wallpaper, the warm radiator, the smell of cooking rice, the evidence of a child. Her eyes are calculating, assessing, judging. Her gaze lands on Amaka. So this is the girl, she says. The witness. Amaka's blood goes cold. She saw you, Madame Go continues, speaking to Junho as if Amaka isn't there. She's a liability. You know what to do with liabilities, Junho. You have been trained to do this. Junho is silent. You will clean the loose end, Madame Go says. It's not a request. It's an order. It's the voice of someone accustomed to absolute obedience. You will do it today, and then you will come home. We will forget this moment. We will pretend this never happened. And you will return to your life. She looks directly at Junho. Or, she continues, you can refuse, and then you will both be loose ends, and someone else will clean them. It's a threat. It's an ultimatum. It's the moment where everything changes. She turns to leave, but Junho speaks. No, he says quietly. Madame Go stops. She turns back slowly. No, she repeats. Like the word doesn't make sense. Like he just said something in a language she doesn't understand. Like he's just violated every law of their world. I will not clean the loose end, Junho says. His voice is stronger now. I will keep her alive. I will keep her safe. I will keep the child safe. And I will stay here until it is done. Madame Go's face goes absolutely still. You are refusing me, she says. It's a statement, not a question. A moment of recognition, a moment of transformation. I am refusing you, Junho confirms. For a long moment, no one speaks. Madame Go is calculating. She's reassessing. She's understanding that Junho has just stepped outside of her control. He's just made a choice that isn't hers to make. She walks to the door slowly. Then you are no longer my son, she says quietly. And then she leaves. She doesn't say anything else. She just walks out. Her expensive coat trailing behind her, her power trailing behind her. But her threat lingers. The weight of the refusal remains. Junho closes the door slowly. He locks it. He checks the windows. He checks the back exit. He's going into full protection mode. Amaka realizes in this moment that he has just rejected his entire world. He has just refused his handler. He has just chosen her over his organization, his power, his life, his identity. He has made himself a fugitive. He has made them both fugitives. The next days pass in strange routine. Amaka wakes up. She makes breakfast for Leo. She takes him to daycare. She comes back to the apartment. She and Junho exist in this liminal space, not quite living, not quite surviving, but something in between. She cooks. She cleans. She watches as Junho slowly, incrementally, becomes something almost human, but the danger is getting closer. There are strange cars on the street now, black sedans that park and watch. Junho notices them. He makes more phone calls. He speaks sharper Korean. His jaw clenches tighter. How long? Amaka asks one evening. Until they move, Junho says. Days, maybe. A week, maybe. My organization and the rivals are negotiating. But negotiations don't last forever. What happens when the negotiations end? Then they come for you, Junho says simply. Unless I can convince them not to. Can you? He doesn't answer. That's all the answer she needs. On the 7th day, Junho and Leo start a puzzle. It's a simple puzzle. 100 pieces, bright colors, an image of a family playing in the park. Leo shows Junho how to do it. He teaches Junho, a man who is an expert in death and violence, how to fit together pieces of a family portrait. Junho learns slowly, carefully, patiently. Amaka watches, and she thinks about the moment when the puzzle is almost done, when they're so close to completing the picture of safety and family, and then the door crashes open and the world ends. She thinks about what Junho will be willing to sacrifice. She thinks about whether one person's love can stand against an entire organization's power. The 9th day arrives like an execution. Junho doesn't sleep that night. He sits by the window watching the street. Amaka doesn't sleep either. She lies in bed, listening to his breathing, listening to his phone calls that get progressively shorter and quieter. She knows what's coming. The negotiations are over. The war between Junho's organization and the rival gang has reached its conclusion, and the conclusion is that Amaka, the witness, the loose end, the woman who saw something she wasn't supposed to see, has to be eliminated. Junho has made his choice. He's chosen her over his organization. But his organization doesn't accept refusals. Amaka is the debt. At 6:47 a.m., Junho comes to the bedroom. He pulls back the curtain slightly. Pack a bag, he says quietly. One bag. Only what you need. Only what the child needs. We leave in 10 minutes. Leave? Where are we going? Away from here. The rival gang is moving. They will come here within the hour. We cannot be here when they arrive. Amaka's heart is hammering. She wakes Leo gently. She tells him they're going on an adventure, that they need to pack quickly, that they need to be very quiet. Leo, confused and still half asleep, does what she says. Junho is checking the hallway. He's checking the stairs. He's mapping exits. The fire escape, he says. We go down the fire escape. There is a car parked on the back street. The driver will take us to a safe location. And then? Amaka asks. And then we wait. We wait for the war to be over. We wait for the dust to settle. We wait for safety. They're at the door. Amaka has the bag. Leo has Roar, his stuffed lion. Junho has his gun and his phone and the weight of every choice he's made. But Leo looks back. He looks back at the apartment, at his home, at the place where he learned that a scary man could be kind, at the place where he learned that the radiator could be fixed. Mama, he says, the puzzle. The puzzle. They left it on the coffee table, almost finished, just 3 pieces left. Junho is already moving toward the door. We do not have time. But Amaka understands. The puzzle isn't about the puzzle. The puzzle is about the life they were building together. The picture of a family, complete and safe. 1 second, she says. She goes back. She grabs the puzzle box. She grabs the 3 remaining pieces. We have them, she says. We'll finish it where we're going. It's a lie, and they both know it. But it's a necessary lie. They're halfway down the fire escape when Junho stops. Below them, parked on the street, is a black sedan. Not his car. A rival gang car. They're here. Junho is pulling them back up. He's moving fast, his tactical training overriding everything else. Go, the roof. There is a way across the roofs to the next building. Amaka doesn't argue. She grabs Leo. She runs. Behind them, she hears car doors slamming. She hears footsteps. She hears men shouting in Korean, words she doesn't understand but that sound like death. They make it to the next building, then the next. Junho is leading them across rooftops like he's done this before, like he's spent his life running from people trying to kill him. But they're trapped. They're on a rooftop in the middle of the city, and there's nowhere left to run. Junho sees it at the same moment Amaka does. Black sedans pulling up on the street below. Men getting out. Men looking up. They've found them. Listen to me, Junho says. He's kneeling down so he's at Leo's eye level. You are going to hold on to your mother. You are going to run. You are not going to look back. Do you understand? Leo nods, terrified. His small hands gripping Roar so tightly the stuffed animal might suffocate. Junho! Amaka starts. The far side of the roof, he says. There is a building with a fire escape. You go down. There is a car waiting on the street. Silver Honda Civic. The keys are under the visor. You drive. You do not stop. You drive to the address in your pocket. He hands her a piece of paper. His handwriting. His plan. His last gift to her. Where are you going? She asks. To buy you time, he says simply. And then he stands. And then he walks toward the edge of the roof where the men are beginning to climb the fire escape. I need to pause here for a second. I know some of you are yelling at the screen right now. Why doesn't she just go to the police? Why doesn't she run to a women's shelter? Why is a killer her only option? But if you've ever been poor, if you've ever been black, if you've ever depended on a system that's designed to fail you, you already know the answer. You already understand why she chooses a killer over the law. Because the law doesn't protect women like Amaka. The law takes her child away. The law asks too many questions. The law doesn't believe her. Sometimes survival looks like this. Sometimes it looks like making a deal with the devil. Sometimes the only person willing to die for you is someone the world has already written off as a monster. Let me continue. Amaka doesn't watch. She can't watch. She grabs Leo and she runs. Behind her, she hears Junho's voice shouting in Korean. She hears the sound of gunfire. She hears the crack of his gun firing back. She hears the sound of a man she has come to love choosing to sacrifice himself. She runs. Leo is crying. He's asking for Junho. He's asking why. Junho is making that sound. He's asking questions that Amaka cannot answer. She runs. She finds the fire escape. She climbs down. Her hands are shaking so badly that she can barely grip the railing. Her vision is blurry with tears. But she keeps moving. She finds the silver Civic. She finds the keys under the visor. She starts the engine. She drives. Her hands are shaking on the steering wheel. She's driving 80 miles per hour through city streets. She runs a red light. A horn blares. She doesn't stop. She can't stop. She doesn't know how long she drives. She just drives. Leo is crying in the back seat. She's crying at the wheel. They're both broken. She looks at the address on the piece of paper. A hotel on the edge of the city. A place where no one will look for her. A place where she can hide. The address and a note in his handwriting. Wait 3 days. Money is under the mattress. The hotel owner is my brother. He will help you. His brother. He has a brother. There are so many things about Junho that she will never know. So many layers beneath the surface that she will never get to explore. And now, she never will. The hotel is small, run down. It caters to people who don't want to be found. Amaka checks in with cash. The hotel owner, a Korean man who looks like an older version of Jun-ho, nods slowly, understanding everything without being told. The room is small. It has 2 beds and a window that looks out at the parking lot. It's not home. It will never be home. Leo falls asleep immediately. He's exhausted. He's traumatized. His body has shut down as a form of protection. Amaka sits on the edge of the bed and cries. She doesn't know if Jun-ho is alive. She doesn't know if he made it out. She doesn't know anything except that she drove away and left him on that roof, and she will spend the rest of her life knowing that she did that. She finds the money under the mattress. $50,000 in cash. He's been planning this. He's been planning to save her. He's been planning to disappear. She finds her phone ringing on the 3rd day. It's Jun-ho. "Hello," his voice says. He sounds tired. He sounds like he's been through something unspeakable. "I am alive." Amaka can't speak. She's crying too hard. "Listen," he says. "I cannot stay in the city. The rival gang is falling apart. My organization is hunting me. I am a ghost now. I am nothing. But I have time. I have enough time to set things up for you. For the child. I have contacts. I have resources. I have one more thing I can do." "Where are you?" Amaka whispers. "Somewhere safe. I will be in contact. Do not go to the police. Do not trust anyone. Trust only the hotel owner. Trust only me. Can you do that?" "Yes," she says. "I love you," he says. And then he hangs up. The first and last time he ever says it. 8 months later, Amaka is standing in a hair salon, not renting a chair, owning it. It's a small place, in a good neighborhood, with large windows that let in natural light. The sign on the door says Divine Crown Salon, the same name as her old salon, but different. This one is hers. The salon was funded anonymously. The paperwork came through a lawyer who never asked questions. The money came from a trust set up in her name by someone with significant resources and significant reason to disappear. Jun-ho. He's been alive this whole time. He's been setting up her life. He's been building something for her from the shadows. She has a new apartment too. Not a studio. A 3-bedroom house in the suburbs. Safe, clean, warm. There's a backyard where Leo can play. There's a room with a desk where she can do her books. There's a master bedroom where she can sleep without listening for danger. The house has a radiator that works perfectly. Jun-ho fixed it before he left. It's Saturday afternoon. The salon is closed. Leo is supposed to be at daycare, but Amaka picked him up early. She told him they were going to meet an old friend. The door opens. Jun-ho walks in. He looks different. His hair has grown out. The sharp edges of his face have softened slightly. His eyes are still intense, but there's something else there now. Something softer. Something that looks almost like peace. He's limping. There's a scar on his neck that wasn't there before. He's been through something. He's been through hell. But he's alive. "Hello," he says simply. "Hi," Amaka says. She doesn't know what else to say. They've been apart for 8 months. She has so many questions. She doesn't know where to start. "Your salon," he says, looking around. "It is beautiful." "You did this," Amaka says. "You set it all up." "I helped," he says. "But you are making it beautiful. That is your work." Leo comes running from the back room. He stops when he sees Jun-ho. For a moment, they just look at each other. A man and a boy. A boy and a man who risked everything for him. "You came back," Leo says. "I came back," Jun-ho says. And then Leo runs to him and hugs him. Jun-ho picks him up. He holds him carefully, like the boy is precious. Like the boy is the most important thing in the world. Because he is. They go to the house. Amaka makes dinner. Rice and beans and plantains. The same meal she made in the apartment, but made with more flour, made with more love, made with less desperation. Junho eats like he's tasting food for the first time. He eats slowly. He eats carefully. He eats like he's aware of every flavor, every texture, every small act of devotion that Amaka has put into the meal. After dinner, Leo shows Junho his room. There's a puzzle on the desk. It's the family puzzle, the same one from the apartment. Finally finished. The 3 pieces that were left have been placed. The family is complete. You finished it, Junho says. Mama and I finished it, Leo says. We were waiting for you to come back to help. That night, Amaka and Junho sit in the living room. Leo is asleep upstairs. Where have you been? Amaka asks finally. Everywhere. Nowhere. Everywhere that was not here because I could not be here and keep you safe. But you're here now. I'm here now. The rival gang is scattered. My organization has moved on. There are still people who want to kill me. There will always be people who want to kill me. But the immediate threat is gone. Now I can be here. Now I can try to be something other than a killer. He pulls something from his pocket. A small box. Amaka's heart stops. I do not know if I deserve this, Junho says. I do not know if I can be the man you need me to be, but I know that I love you. I know that you are the first thing in my life that I have loved without wanting to destroy. I know that you saved me by letting me save you. He opens the box. Inside is a ring. Simple, elegant, real. Will you marry me? He asks. Amaka looks at this man. She looks at the scars on his hands. She looks at the softness in his eyes. She looks at the man who killed someone in a parking garage to protect her. She looks at the man who refused his handler for her. She looks at the man who sacrificed everything for her and her son. She looks at the killer who learned to fix radiators and open juice boxes and love a child as if that child were his own. I'm telling you this story because I need you to understand something. This is not some fluffy fantasy. This is how women like Amaka survive. They take safety where they can get it, even when it comes in the shape of a man the world calls a monster. Sometimes the person designed to hurt you is the only person willing to protect you. Yes, she says, and she cries. 1 year later, Amaka is wearing a white dress. It's not elaborate. It's simple. It's elegant. It's the kind of dress a woman who has survived CPS visits and poverty and murder wears on the day she chooses to commit to someone. Junho is waiting at the altar. He's wearing a suit. It's tailored. It's expensive. But it's not his old suit. It's softer. It's warmer. It's the suit of a man who is trying to become something new. Leo is the ring bearer. He's wearing a little suit. He's walking down the aisle with the seriousness of a child who understands that this moment matters. Ms. Rivera is sitting in the front row, crying happy tears. The hotel owner is there. Some of Amaka's salon clients are there. The community that has held her up is witnessing her moment of joy. They exchange vows. Junho cries. He tries not to, but he does. He cries because he never thought he would be here. He never thought he would be loved. He never thought he would have a family. Amaka cries because she's made it. She's survived. She's built something. They kiss. And the community cheers. Junho holds Amaka while they dance. He's not smooth. He's not graceful. He's learning. But he holds her like she's the most precious thing in the world. I have been thinking, he says quietly, about the first night. When you looked at me in the parking garage, when our eyes met. I was terrified, Amaka says. I know. But in that moment, I knew that my life was ending. Not because you would kill me, but because the life I had been living was over. I saw you, and I understood that there was something else possible. There was something beyond violence. There was something called home. 5 years later. It's morning. Amaka is in the kitchen making breakfast. She's making jollof rice, but not for survival. For love. For the joy of cooking. For the ritual of feeding people she loves. Leo is doing homework at the kitchen table. He's 11 now. He's growing. He's strong. He has no memory of the nights in the apartment. He has no memory of the fear. He only has memories of safety and love. Junho is outside, fixing the fence. He's not a killer anymore. He has a job at a construction company. He builds things instead of destroying them. He comes home every day at 5 p.m. He hugs his wife. He helps his son with homework. He fixes things that are broken. There's a photograph on the mantelpiece. It's the three of them. Smiling. Actually smiling. Not posing. Not performing. Just existing as a family. Below the photograph is the puzzle. The family puzzle. Completed. Protected under glass so it will never fall apart again. The front door opens. Junho comes inside, covered in dust from the fence repair. He smells like wood and work. He kisses Amaka on the top of her head. He ruffles Leo's hair. He sits down at the kitchen table. This is their life now. This is what survival looks like. This is what love looks like when it's real. Let me tell you something. This story started at 2 a.m. in a parking garage with a murder. It ended in a house with a working radiator and a man learning how to be human. This is silent debt. This is the story of a witness who became a wife, a killer who became a father, a dangerous night that led to a beautiful life. This is the story of a woman who had nothing and took a chance on the one person the world told her to fear. This is the story of a man who had everything and gave it all up for the one person who mattered. Do you believe that people can change? Do you believe that someone can move from darkness into light? Do you believe that love is powerful enough to transform even the most violent among us? Let me know in the comments. And if you made it this far, thank you. Thank you for watching Amaka's story. Thank you for witnessing her survival. Thank you for believing that even in the darkest moments there is the possibility of light. Like this video, comment, subscribe, and let me know, what was the moment when you realized Junho was no longer a threat? What was the moment when you started believing that they could actually make it? I want to hear your thoughts.